chemical engineering major is a discourse community at Syracuse University. It was founded in 1995 and has over 320 undergraduate and 125 graduate students.
Hi, my name is Megan Bixby, and I am an active member of the chemical engineering discourse community ever since I transferred to Syracuse University this fall. I actively participate in my discourse community by going to classes, doing research, submitting work, going to events, and participating on an everyday basis.
The mission of the Department of Biomedical and Chemical Engineering is to provide our students with mentoring, curricular experience, and extracurricular opportunities consistent with their individual career objectives, so that graduates of the program will have mastered the chemical engineering fundamentals necessary to serve as practicing engineers and will be prepared for further studies in engineering, science, or other professions. These fundamentals include an understanding of basic engineering concepts, the collection of information from experimentation and from scientific and textual literature, and the prediction of a system behavior through the development and application of mathematical models. The home of the chemical engineering discourse community is Link Hall. The first floor displays a slideshow that highlights the faculty and events pertaining to the chemical engineering major. A discourse community interacts through speech and writing by receiving and responding to communications. The third floor contains all artifact displays relating to the major, such as flyers, newsletters, and faculty listings. These are the various mechanisms used to exchange information and provide feedback focused around achieving the common goal of the discourse community. Chemical engineering at Syracuse University does not have a large digital presence. The community has its own website and has a shared Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook account through Engineering and Computer Science at Syracuse University. The digital presence is another mechanism used to provide information and feedback about the community, ultimately expressing its goals. The chemical engineering discourse community also produces other artifacts such as mugs, t-shirts, and other logo-related paraphernalia that promote the community and establish their lasting reputation. Many forms of lexis are used within the chemical engineering major discourse community, such as describing organizations such as WISE, Women in Science and Engineering, and ALCHE, which is American Institute for Chemical Engineering. Students also use lexis when they say they are taking certain classes such as PChem and Orgo, which stands for Physical Chemistry and Organic Chemistry. The discourse community utilizes and hence possesses one or more genres in the communicative furtherance of its aims, such as academic journal articles and posters. Academic journal articles are adopted from a national community, although members of the discourse community also produce them as well. Journal articles are all about scientific research. Scientific research articles serve as a medium for the discussion, proposal, and often critique of novel ideas. They consist of explaining the motivation for the experiment, how it was performed, what the results were, how they compare to literature values, and what useful information the results provide. They are typically around 800 to 3,000 words. They include 7 sections: an abstract, introduction, experimental, results, discussion, conclusion, and references. Charts and graphs along with textual evidence justify the research. They can be accessed online or mailed. Some scientific journal articles are available for free, but many require subscriptions to the American Chemical Society or other organizations. In the chemical engineering discourse community, teachers provide articles. They can be found posted in link, and they can be accessed from discourse communities' subscriptions. The authors of journal articles come from all over. Typically, they have a higher degree of education, such as a doctorate or a master's. There is typically multiple authors listed on a journal article. The authors use the active voice when it is less wordy and more direct than the passive, and use the passive voice when the doer of the action is unknown or not important, or when you would prefer not to specify the doer of the action. It is common that no personal pronouns are used. The author's voice is not forceful. This is because the goal is to provide information and not a bias. Scientific and engineering research articles are one of the single most important means of communicating knowledge within a discipline and within the chemical engineering discourse community. They are a way to share their findings and ideas, which is important in the discovery of new solutions in the world of science and engineering, such as solutions in environmental pollution and biomedical devices. One of the goals of the community is to master chemical engineering fundamentals and be able to contribute to the field, and this is done through the collection of information from experimentation and scientific literature, and also producing it to share with other engineers. And this is done through academic journal articles. The readers are anyone interested in the research that has been published. This is typically others in the chemical engineering industry who want to do further research or need to learn more about someone else's research to contribute it to their own. There are millions of readers across the globe. They access the genre through a subscription to the scientific organizations such as the American Chemical Society or the American Institute of Chemical Engineers. Some can be found online, or subscriptions can be accessed online or be received through the mail. There is a high level of scientific literacy required to understand the genre. There are varying degrees of knowledge required to read the text and understand it. New members can only read entry-level articles, and even so, it is very hard for them to understand. Professors with doctorates can understand more complex research subjects. Members do need some level of knowledge about chemical engineering principles to understand the text and the lexis used. They typically are introduced to it early, but require help from other students and professors who help interpret the meaning. There are many examples of lexis used in the chemical engineering major discourse community. The following are examples of lexis taken from scientific journal articles. Many instrumental techniques are referred to by their acronyms or abbreviations, such as in this example, FTIR stands for Fourier Transform Infrared Spectroscopy. Chemicals are often abbreviated when written in scientific literature because it makes them easier to identify, and they are well known by members of the community, such as HDO, which stands for Deuter alcohol. Lastly, chemistry definitions and terms that are well known are another type of lexis used, such as denaturints, which is a substance added to alcohol to make it unfit for drinking, osmolytes, which are compounds that are soluble in the solution within a cell, and surfactants, which are substances that tend to reduce the surface tension of a liquid in which it is dissolved. Scientific journal articles play a social role that helps the text reproduce and establish itself. The author is more of an informer, someone reporting what they find. New scientific discoveries are trying to be made, and knowledge already known is trying to be put into new uses. The goal, the readers are supposed to build on the research in order to conduct additional research. Many scientific journal articles have over 20 references, because they are building off of someone else's research. The text circulates so that the reader can gain new knowledge and new discoveries can be made. The journal articles introduce chemical engineers to the professional world, helping prepare them for future jobs. It provides information for students to absorb and build on their knowledge, and later help them apply similar scientific applications, such as instrumental and mathematical techniques. Older members of the discourse community are also able to contribute their research and publish several articles, thus furthering the goals of the community by helping students achieve their academic and career goals and having faculty support them.